Basic with some bang. Top from the stripper, bitch. You can't rock with a real quick. But don't play with me with this with your hoe. And I stop. Oh, go. Dude. Entrenched World War One. The fuck? I was scared, okay? Can you blame me? You're in the shadow. You're not really doing any action. Alright. I'm back. I gotta get something for my tooth, man. It's hurting me like hell. I'm gonna be AFK for a while because I'm trying to deal with this tooth pain right now. Step, no, step back. Step back. Damn, don't care if 50 in is cooking or not. At the diner on the corner, I am waiting at the counter for the man to pour the coffee, and he fills it only halfway before I even hungry. He's looking out the window at somebody coming in. I love that song so much, bro. Rifle's good, but runs out of ammo fast. Shotgun's good, though I'm slow. It's reliable. Quick pump.
We'll leave right here. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm hey, I'm sorry. Please. No, please. Hey, I'm sorry. Please. No, please, bro, please. We'll leave right here. I'm so sorry, bro. Out is straight ahead, so oh crap. Bats. So
Backrooms?
They explored empty schools. Someone was watching. Figures in dark hallways. Voices echoing through gymnasiums. People living in the classrooms. Moments where silence breaks. Things that shouldn't be there. Tonight, we look at the most disturbing abandoned school encounters caught on camera. Real footage of explorers who discovered that some schools never fully empty out. In 2023, TP Urbex entered an abandoned school in Gary, Indiana called Dunbar Pulaski, a building that opened in 1923 and shut down for good in 2015 after 6 straight years of academic failure. On his first attempt, he had no idea what he was walking into. He made his way through the hallways and found one of the coolest locker rooms he had ever seen. Football equipment left exactly where the last team dropped it. Shelves of helmets, shoulder pads still stacked in rows. He said he had never seen anything like it.
thank you. Even more books over here too. Oh shoot. So coming down here, it looks like this is the locker room. And it's just full of all of the football equipment. Shoulder pads even. Helmets up here. This is one of the coolest locker rooms I've ever seen. Never seen so much stuff left behind.
Then he heard something in the hallway behind him, and the next 20 seconds are the reason he thought he was in serious danger.
Yeah, it's over. It's fine, don't run. It's fine. Bro, it's fine. Here. Go, this way. Yo! Hello? Oh, we're getting out of here right now. I'm sorry. Okay, hey, we're getting out of here. We were just taking some pictures, bro. I'm sorry. We just saw a window. Hey, I'm sorry. Please. No, please, bro, please. We'll leave right here. I'm so sorry, bro. Please, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. No, we weren't looking for anyone, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, for sure. For sure, bro. I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Yo, they're staring at us, bro. Let's go. I don't care. I'm scared.
They got out shaking. They barely understood what had just happened, but they knew how close they had come.
Bro, I'm actually so shook right now.
Well, those guys booked in there, bro.
Bro, he was holding a metal rod. Dude, I thought he was gonna kill me, bro. I was begging for my life, dog.
I think got footage of something.
A year later, he came back. Fresh boards were nailed over the windows that weren't there the first time. He knew the risk.
Lost our lives inside this abandoned school right here. And today, we decided we're gonna come back and try and get inside and explore the full building. I mean, you could already see there's fresh boards that were not there last time. I don't know, I'm super scared, but let's get right inside. We need to start looking for a second way out just in case. I'm here with Nature Bandolo, the same person that was with me when we got...
He made it further into the building this time, but in one of the classrooms, he heard a sound that he recognized from his last visit.
One of the classrooms. Yo, let's go, let's go. Yo, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Almost 2 years after his first attempt, he finally went back a third time with someone who had direct access. This time, he got everything. The gym was still powered, lights still buzzing overhead in a building that had been empty for a decade.
Guys, so the first room that I'm coming into on the third visit from this abandoned school, and this is the gym. And honestly, I am so shocked right now that there's power in here.
Backrooms.
All the videos I've seen online and pictures, there's been no power in here for the 5 years I've seen this school. And when I stop talking, you can just hear the old buzzing. It is just so nostalgic to hear that, and it's honestly just so crazy to see this gym covered in graffiti, but still the power is working, or at least the power is working now. I've heard stories about this school that the gym has always been sealed off for like the last year or two, but we just walked right in that door right there, no problems. Surprisingly, I was not expecting to see this gym on this visit right here. Coming up here on the bleachers, you can really see, how massive this gym is. This place is huge. Just all of the lights, again, just buzzing. It's just so crazy. This is a great start to the third visit of this abandoned school here. Right up there, you can see the old scoreboard. Still got the name of the school. So cool. Even right there, Pulaski Colts.
Classrooms were still full of books with the names of the last students who checked them out written on the spines. The cafeteria, kitchen equipment, and home EC classrooms were all frozen in place.
Through this way, I believe this is the kitchen for the cafeteria right here. Yeah, for sure. You can actually see they still have some old machines left back here. Like a fryer, it looks like. But then coming this way, this should be the cafeteria here. Got an old sign. But as I come in, you can actually see the room still has power again. All the graffiti. I don't think the rest of the building still has power, but to see these two rooms with power on is crazy. Look at the old design. It goes around. You can just see that light is barely hanging on. These are like the old lunch tables right here in the corner. You can actually see the windows are like covered. I think that's graffiti from the outside, making like the room have an orange tint. But again, you can just see.
The library was torn apart, but still filled with books piled across shelves and floors, and the auditorium had something on the stage that had gone viral on TikTok months earlier. What it was had never been confirmed.
Office right here, there's still all this light. You can see there's more books even in here. This library is kind of giving me creepy vibes though after all the stuff that's happened to me in this building. I'm gonna get out of here right now. So as I come down these stairs right here, it actually looks like this leads to the auditorium of this building. And it's actually a pretty big auditorium. that they would use this for a middle school. Actually, I don't know if they would use this part of the high school as well. But look at that. The curtain is still completely in place. There's this weird stain, actually. You can kind of see it right here. There was a viral TikTok in here that they found a huge blood stain on the stage. I'll throw the clip in right here for you guys to see. But I don't know if this is it. It's gotta be it. That's crazy.
All right, everyone. Now it's time for a special segment for our wonderful sponsor, Irium.
It's gotta be it. That's crazy. Super creepy. Look at that. That's dried blood.
Then he reached the locker room, the exact room where the most frightening moment of his life had happened 2 years earlier. What was still sitting on those shelves is something he never got to see the first time because he was too busy begging for his life.
This is the locker room we made it to. When we first came here, we heard yelling. We got caught by the owners and our lives threatened. I finally get to show you guys this. Look at this. All these shelves are still set up with all of the old football equipment, just left rotting away. I mean, look at this helmet. They even have the super old-fashioned one right here, without the face mask, but just shelves full of them, even on the ground right here. Old uniforms, stuff that they would put on the field. Look at this. These are all the old pants that they would wear here, but it's just unbelievable to see all of this
Why would you
stuff
grab them?
left in this locker room right here. It's so crazy. And then right next door, look at this. There's even more jerseys and helmets, even cleats. Look at all those old cleats
Take some.
just left here.
Clean them
Obviously, their
out.
colors were gold.
3 attempts, 2 failures, 1 encounter that almost ended everything, and a 3rd visit that only happened because someone gave him permission to walk through the exact hallway where he had once thought he feared for his life. In 2026, Jared Coker Urbex got inside Delta Prep, an abandoned charter high school in Detroit that had closed suddenly in 2018, leaving students and families scrambling to find new schools on short notice. He found a way in through a back window. What he saw the second he climbed through the frame told him this wasn't going to be a normal explore.
Alright, there's a school over there. We're gonna take this back alleyway. Hopefully that bypasses some of the fences that are blocking it. What is that? Look at that, like hawk. Whoa. Yo. Am I going nuts, or is that door on the very end look open? Is that a hawk or a falcon? Oh, it's been many years since I've memorized my birds. I'm going to say no, that door's probably not open, given that big metal bar on it. I can see now. I don't know, I like my odds at this one. I bet you there'll be something secret back here that's open. I don't know, they all have this wire mesh stuff. There'd have to be an open window and that wire stuff gone. Bingo, see it over there. Alrighty. Alrighty. We have... Oh, hello. Is it okay if I come in here? Do you mind if I come look around the building? Is it okay if I look around?
There was already someone inside, a man laying in the room he had just entered. He asked permission to walk around the building. The man nodded. He was allowed to keep going, but he had no idea how many more people were in there with him.
Thank you. Whew. Okay, need a light. Oh my god, there's mice in here. I see mice just scampering across the floor. Wonder if I can capture one. There are 2 mice that just went running across. Okay. Nice. So there was a guy laying in that room that I got in through. So I just asked him if he minded if I walked through the building. And he gave me a nod, so we're good, we're chilling.
He moved through the hallways quietly, keeping his voice down and his steps slow. Then he turned a corner and saw something that made him freeze and drop into a whisper for the rest of the video.
There's got to be so many mice in this school. I've already seen 4. Look at this. I'm not sure if that guy over there is actually asleep or if he's just ignoring me, but I'm gonna be quiet. Okay, there must just be like a lot of people in here. So it's gonna be a very low voice, low energy kind of video. I think there might be a gym in here somewhere, but I'm not sure I'd even...
Every room he checked revealed more. Beds set up in corners, personal belongings piled against walls, bottles and supplies that told him this school wasn't abandoned at all. It was a home for more people than he could count.
I think there might be a gym in here somewhere, but I'm not sure I'd even shoot hoops or bust out the ball if it's gonna make so much noise. If I'm afraid it's gonna like disturb anyone else who's in here somewhere. I don't know. This might be a pretty quick and pretty quiet video. I've already seen 2 people in here. There could be many, many more.
Boxes that are filled with tons of awesome One Piece magic or Pokemon cards. Let's open this one. You can see exactly what's...
Oh, there is a gym. There's no floor anymore. It's like dirt, practically. Oh boy, how loud would that be? Like, I want to take a couple shots, because it's just like the trademark of the channel now. Every time I go to a gym, it's like solely for this purpose.
He made it to the gym and tried to shoot a few hoops quietly, something he did in every school he explored. But every dribble kicked up dust from a floor that had turned to dirt, and every bounce was loud enough to make him stop after a few shots.
I just checked, like, this adjacent kitchen room to make sure there's nobody in there, even though I accidentally slammed the door really loud. Just for the satisfaction of seeing a couple shots go through, I'm gonna, like, shoot for just a minute or 2, but I seriously don't want to make a lot of noise here. It's not that loud. There goes my energy again. Kind of made too much noise as it is, so we better be done there. This floor is disgusting, though. Every dribble just kicks up dirt.
I'll be right back, guys. My mouth is on fire. Oh, my teeth. They're screaming at me.
I could stop if I wanted to.
Then he explored what looked like a fallout shelter running underneath the building, a long, eerie tunnel that stretched the full length of the school.
Oh, yeah. Down below, let's just see there. Kind of looks like one.
Sweetness
Not
numbs
really
the
much
pain.
to see, it's just a big, eerie tunnel. Whoa. There runs the full length of the building down on that end, too. Yeah. I've had enough of this.
Back on the main floor, something happened that he called the most cliché moment of his entire life. He turned a corner and heard a sound coming from a room he had not touched.
I didn't like that flashlight. Needed one with more firepower. Okay, let's just see this. Just see what happens. God.
I wanted to play a heavy attack build, so I pick an attack-focused gear set. You do not die that easily in the early game, so stacking full attack is totally fine. You can see that even though there are lots of mobs, once your attack is maxed out, clearing stages is pretty...
Dude, that was the most cliche thing in the world. That I turned a corner and I'd hear a door creaking by itself. How does that just happen? Is it the wind through the windows? I thought for sure in any one of these rooms there was about to be some dude like creeping up on me, you know, like peeking out the door. Like maybe that's why I heard it.
On the second floor, he started opening doors carefully until one of them revealed something that made him stop opening doors entirely.
What is that? Hit it up. Okay. I don't know what else I expected. Going into a room with that much stuff in it like that. But if y'all didn't see, there was a guy sleeping in the corner over there. I'm not going to open any more doors that are closed. I'm just going to assume they're closed for a reason. I kept saying it.
Every hallway after that had someone in it. He could see shadows through doorways, hear movement in rooms he hadn't checked, and by the time he reached the last corridor, he had seen at least 3 people and said the real number could be upwards of a dozen. Then, in the final hallway, he turned the corner and saw something walking toward him in the dark.
I wonder what the actual total number of people in here with me right now is. I'm not going to go find out for myself. I've seen 3 bare minimum, but you never know. There could be upwards of like a dozen in here. I really don't feel like I'm in any sort of danger, though. Homeless people aren't dangerous most of the time. Scrappers are. But homeless people, they're usually just going to do their own thing. Sleep, hang out, whatever they do. This is our last corridor, and then I'm out of here. I know I shouldn't make jokes or anything, because homelessness is like a serious thing. To the people staying here, it's definitely no joke, but that was the scariest thing for a second there, to turn that corner and then just seeing that ghostly figure walking down that hall. So I guess we're done here. Oh, sorry. See you later. Thanks for letting me look around. Alrighty. So there was a second guy just coming in to say what's up with the first guy there, so I'm glad they were chill. Glad everyone in there was just doing their own thing.
Yeah, we're not gonna watch that anymore because I am thoroughly creeped out now. Wow. What? Huh.
Which restaurant has the best steak? First up, we got Chili's. I got all of these cooked medium rare, so we'll see how they do on that. Chili steak wasn't terrible, a little bit short of authentic. I'd probably give it a 7.7 out of 10. Next up, we got Longhorn Steakhouse. Certainly not bad at all. And with only 630 calories and 72 grams of protein, my muscles are indeed quite happy. And shout out to this app here for giving me that information so I can eat out and still stick to my fitness goals at any restaurant in the world. Decent flavor, probably a little overcooked to my liking, but definitely not bad. I'd give it a 7.8 out of 10. Next up, we got Texas Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
That one's pretty tender and delicious. A large but softer meat, which helps with my confidence. I like that one quite a bit, though. I'd give it an 8.2 out of 10. Like I said, kind of tender and juicy the way I like it. Now we got Outback.
Outback Steakhouse.
Pretty basic, not bad. Probably give it a 7.9 out of 10. Now we got Applebee's. This one's the smallest here, just like me in the showers after the big game. It's almost like spicy. Flavor's okay, but that one's my least favorite. I'd probably give it a 5.2 out of 10. And last up here, we got the Cheesecake Factory. Not bad, but they definitely should not switch their name to the Steak Factory. I like the texture, but on the flavor profile, that one was one of the worst, but the texture was probably my favorite. I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. Why am I insecure again? Which restaurant has the best steak? First up, we got Chili's.
Was the question really necessary, bro? Was it?
Here, man, go ahead with that drink. Hey, with it. Hold on, play that drink. Here, man, go ahead with that drink. Hey, with it.
She knows something.
Wait, can I actually like driving cars? We have a very unique backplate. This is called the green light sight. When your iron sights are lined up, this will turn green. In a self-defense scenario, you're not really going to be able to aim down your iron sights. I'm just pointing and shooting. Not bad. We have a very unique backplate. This is called the green light sight. When your iron sights are lined up, this will turn green. In a self-defense scenario, you're not... Do you know how many websites I've watched?
Play it, bro. Let's fucking play it. I'm bored anyways. At least I can play the game without having to fucking download it all the time. What is this? This is new for me. Maybe we should just download the game. Nah. Ooh.
This is where Leon actually is. And this is where the game thinks he is. Because somehow I've managed to get ahead of the game itself. So the question is, how did we get here? Well, it all started back in a previous video of mine where I manipulated Resident Evil 2 Remake to break into Nest early. After completing Requiem, well, I just couldn't help myself. So starting with the save in the streets of Raccoon City, I first took the camera past RPD to see what the game actually had loaded in at this point. Here we can see that the parking garage portion is actually completely missing. The gun shop, on the other hand, is fully rendered, along with parts of the Tyrant boss fight arena. The building we cared most about, though, being the orphanage, seemed to be missing as well. until we get closer to some of these trigger points. As you can see, the entirety of the metro station, the train, and the location where Leon descends to the Plant 43 infested ruins outside of Ark is sitting here in complete darkness. This is what ultimately inspired me to make this video, as it gave me hope that I could somehow manipulate the game just enough to explore some of these areas in an early game state to see how the game behaves and what there is to find. I'll go ahead and let you know now that what I found turned out to be very unexpected, and up to this point there appear to be many things that no one has discovered yet.
You're already 30 years old, only truly outstanding games can spark your interest. Take this one, for example, the Dark Horse of 2026. The biggest feature of this fantasy game is fast monster killing and upgrade. All max
that no one has discovered yet. So before we start throwing Leon around the map, if you're new here and you like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as it really helps out smaller channels like myself. Alright, first and foremost, there was the obvious option, which was to use a no-clip mod to simply move Leon from the city streets to the post-orphanage area and try to progress like normal. Walking through the gun shop, aside from the fact that the flashback cutscene did not activate, things seemed to be working as they should. The items, save spot, and armory crate right before the Tyrant boss fight were all present and working normally. But after walking into the boss arena, unsurprisingly, Mr. X 2.0 is nowhere to be found. He's still waiting patiently in the RPD to crash through the ceiling like a mutated Kool-Aid man. This does pose a new issue though. Without the help of our helicopter-loving friend, this bus blocks the way to the orphanage. We have no choice but to clip past it, but after doing so, we can approach the building like normal, head through the front door, and take in this view of the Raccoon City ruins in the exact same way as a normal playthrough. After jumping down the tunnel and walking through the passage, we can see the game is a bit confused about which terrain to load and what to deload, as our current progression indicates we should be in the RPD right about now. Interestingly, if we try to open this door to head outside, we get soft-locked in this animation where Leon can't seem to turn the wheel. Where is the boulder puncher when you need him? Once again, we can clip past it for now, but after hopping this grate here, Leon lets us know very dramatically that there is no collision in this area. The same is true with all surfaces in this location, as you can see in this example inside of the train. We can also see that the cable that Leon uses to rappel into the pit is also missing. Our goal now is to find the earliest possible quest flag that enables us to interact and progress in this area. Before moving on though, it's also important to point out that Ark itself, along with the area leading up to it, is completely deloaded in this game state. Capcom did this to save system resources, so your PC or console isn't loading high-detail game elements that aren't necessary to provide the best performance possible. The next state to try is just after encountering Xeno and the chase with Tyrant. This time we skip the gun shop again, and when we enter the front orphanage area, we trigger the boss fight cutscene like normal. This fight is so much fun, man. I honestly was looking forward to doing it again for this video. Now that the bus is out of the way, we can walk to the orphanage again, where now, of course, the voice lines and quest updates occur as normal. This time, Leon opens the door like normal, and at last we can jump down onto some solid ground. This is where things start to get interesting. By using no-clip once again to directly place Leon at the area after the train section, we can see that the cable is actually waiting for us this time, and surprisingly it is also fully interactable. We can descend like normal, which gives us this interesting game state where the upper portion is fully intact, meaning that now there are actually two trains, the normal intact version here, and the broken version that represents the pieces after it crashes down. Down below, we find ourselves in a quiet and eerie version of the ruins before Ark. As we make our way through, we see that the Plant 43 enemies are nowhere to be found. That didn't stop me from being anxious that they would suddenly pop out and swipe at me though. Once we reach the bridge before the boss fight, the screen begins to shake and debris falls around us as if the boss was going to trigger. After dropping down though, instead of a giant man-eating plant, we're met with a quiet and unique view of Ark's entrance. By taking a look inside the truck, we can see all the explosives just conveniently waiting to bail us out. It's actually really cool to explore this area in its entirety without the stress of trying to parry Umbrella's entire garden the whole time. Capcom's lighting and environment team absolutely went to town setting the stage for this final act. After approaching the door to Ark, we find that the handle is not yet interactable.
I'm not shocked by this, and the most logical guess would be that the trigger is defeating the Plant 43 boss. We can take a look behind it though, and see that the entryway is actually rendered in place. But similar to the orphanage when we first explored it, the ground has no collision. Looking further, we can see this is the only room that is loaded in. Capcom cleverly hid the loading screen behind the door opening cutscene. This perspective does allow us to zoom out and get a sense of just how huge this underground map is. Just take a look at how much room is blocked out for it. The verticality of Resident Evil maps is something I feel doesn't get talked about nearly enough. From here we can even see some of the buildings from the city overhead. By loading the game state manually, we can finally move into the core arc. By looking back outside the door, we can see that the map has reversed. Now the only portion of the ruins that is loaded in is just a few rocks connected to the entry. Meanwhile, Ark is almost completely loaded in. In a normal playthrough, we would head to the right here to the server room where after a cutscene we would be swarmed by armed soldiers. This is of course far from a normal playthrough, so instead we just fly through the glass and skip both firefights entirely. We can still help out our friend here by freeing him from his tank. There has to be someone out there who accidentally shot this during the portion with the soldiers, right? I mean, I can't imagine how petrified they must have been. Through this door and to the right, we can eventually make our way to the first statue area. Normally, there are intercom announcements that trigger in this area, but Arc AI must be very confused by what it's seeing because it stays quiet this time. Up the stairs, we can find the next important area. On the right is the office with all the information about Umbrella bioweapons, with all of the computers being interactable. Of course, through the other door is the hunk hallway, but the man himself is running a little late. Even though the indicator shows it's unlocked, the door leading to Elpis remains shut tight upon approach. By using FreeCam, we can see that the room is in a bit of an interesting state, to say the least. The platform is missing except for some parts of the main terminal and the large mechanical arm. None of the areas past the doors we use later in the game are loaded in either. This one was a bit of a surprise to me, as it appears Elpis only ever fully loads in right before the initial cutscene with Zeno and Grace.
I think it's chicken.
Elpis only ever fully loads in right before the initial cutscene with Zeno and Grace. By using this perspective to compare it to some regular hallways and normal-sized things, we can get an idea of just how large this chamber is. Spencer really outdid himself here. There is actually one more spot that's functional in this state. By clipping through the glass, we can find ourselves in Hunk's boss arena. Like the Plant 43 area, it's cool to look around without being threatened. I'm curious, do you guys think Hunk survived this fight with Leon? I mean, we've seen him overcome worse, in my opinion. Let me know down below. Outside of the room and up the stairs, I was interrupted by Leon, who finally decided to speak up.
Chris should be nearby. Time to finally get some answers.
Sadly, that's not going to be possible, Leon, because for some reason you can't step over these 3 small crates. But like I said earlier, despite the game recognizing that we had made it to a later area, Elpis still doesn't load in. But if we move Leon to the room manually, we see that the actual collision for the platform is here. I would love to see how this section actually works. Up to this point, it's the only room that I have seen that behaves this way. Loading past the area now and triggering the cutscene normally, we of course find ourselves in the lower portion of Ark, now in control of Grace. Once Leon eventually wakes up from his old man nap, I first needed to see if we could get this whole thing over with and release Elpis early. Moving the camera above, we see that unlike before, Elpis is completely loaded in, along with the platforms that allow access to the side hallways. We can also see how the lower Leon and Grace portions connect to this main chamber. Naturally, I moved Grace to the platform using no-clip, but upon taking a closer look at the main terminal, it appears that the screen and keyboard where she types the code to release Elpis are actually missing. That's too bad. It would be funny if we could just bring the whole place down with no warning. What I found next is one of my favorite discoveries of the whole video. By carefully walking through this yellow door, we can actually clip into the area where Grace later finds Leon before their final confrontation with Zeno. I'm sure you can see where this is going. But there are of course 2 entrances to this hallway. The furthest door is actually an elevator, and at the bottom is Spencer's office from the end of Grace's section. I was thrilled to see that the layout stayed intact despite our strange game state. It makes the facility as a whole feel more like a real location, and enhances the cohesion of all the events that take place. We will definitely be back here a little later, but first let's focus on the other door for now because, as I'm sure you all know, this is a section that is normally only accessible by Leon. We eventually run into a locked door, keeping us from entering the elevator, which makes sense because Leon hasn't inserted the key into the terminal to activate it yet. If we do our own elevating, though, we can end up in the lower labs. I was having so much fun at this point. We can fully explore this area with Grace with absolutely no restrictions. Well, I guess I should say I was having fun until... Yeah, so, fun fact, because the game still thinks we're chilling with Leon, we don't have access to any weapons. Our only choice was to use some Ashcroft athleticism. If Lickers had ankles, they'd be broken right now. In the lower area, I found out that you can actually press all of the buttons with Grace as well. And also, occasionally Leon speaks to us telepathically with words of encouragement. For some reason, only that initial Licker is aggressive. These on the walls here just let us stroll by with no issue. The only roadblock we face here is that once we reach the key, Grace can't pick it up for some reason. But hey, on the bright side, that means we won't have to deal with the swarm of Lickers in the next room, so I can live with that. Back to Leon now. We can progress like normal until we reach the overlook where we normally would hunt the key to allow him to access the area we were just in. I have some bad news for you, man. Of course, the main question here is what happens if we just put ourselves directly in Spencer's main lab and skip all the, saving Leon stuff. So we ignore the key and lock doors and do just that. I can report that you can indeed get there, but it appears that we're missing a trigger because the cutscene does not activate and all of the interactable items are not active. We can also clip past the locked doors and get into Spencer's office at this point. And interestingly, after looking around briefly and heading to the elevator, this strange thing happens where Grace's model gets stuck in the doorway, but the player controller and camera is able to enter the elevator and activate the button. Once it arrives at the upper level, Grace magically pops back into existence and we end up right back where we were a few minutes prior. Strange, but since that trigger is still missing, there's still not a whole lot we can do here. What about if we just go grab both crystal balls and open the door, though? We fly around the lockdown labs, confusing the hell out of this Licker, and sure enough, we can sneakily grab the override key and the red ball from the first area. Take a look at this absolute madness, by the way. I'm so glad we don't have to deal with that. Just as easily as the first, we can fly through the next atrium and snag the white crystal before anyone even senses a thing. Our quest objective updates, which is a good sign, and after placing them and walking in, Grace's voice lines play like normal.
No.
But strangely, we still can't interact with the terminal. Must be nice to have plot armor gifted to you by the literal developers themselves, Leon.
Got a fetish for prisoners now? I never thought I'd find my soulmate in prison, but she's the woman I love.
Must be nice.
Hold on. Wait, hold up, man. Give me a second. Alright, that's it for today's live stream, man. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Hope y'all enjoy your night and your sleep. And peace out, man. Goodbye.